Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is November 7, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 173 of me answering your immigration related questions in this Q&A video. As always, before beginning this video, I'm going to mention, as I mentioned in every video, I am not an immigration attorney. This is not legal advice. All the information provided in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. So let's begin with the very first comment from Ushak Hatka 6270. What is the filing process for F2A? What forms do we need to? So F2A, Ushak is referring to the family reunification process, the category that is part of the family reunification process for permanent residents. So as for all of the rest of the family reunification, whenever it comes to a person who is a permanent resident or a U.S. citizen, depending on who they're sponsoring, to start a petition, you fill out the form I-130. So Ushak, I would highly recommend. On this channel I do have quite a few videos on family reunification, specifically using the I-130. So I would definitely recommend checking them out, and I'm gonna show everyone, might as well use this opportunity. Plus USCIS looks like they did update their website quite recently, so I'm kind of curious myself to see what's going on. But normally you would go to at this very top navigation menu to the forms. I'm gonna click on that, and looks like now it has a drop down, so might even be easier to access it. Yes, there you go, family-based forms, I-130 petition for alien relative. So you can either click this or you can find it through all forms, but this is the form that you need, I-130 petition for alien relative. Looks like now it's easier to access it. So we're gonna click on that, and they will give you the page where you can find all of the information required with the instructions, where to file, how much it is to file. All of the information can be found from this page, and you can actually file this form online as of right now. So I would highly recommend filing this form online. So let me do this. I'm gonna post the response, and I'm gonna post the link to the form, and if you have any questions along the process, you're more than welcome to come back to this channel and ask them. Okay, let's move on further to the next one from Carla Popper. Hi, can the beneficiary request a change of address for my I-130? Okay, so Carla, I'm assuming you are referring to the change of address through USCIS. As long as the beneficiary does have all the information that is necessary, which would be the current address, the new address, the mailing address, the physical address, all the names, the case information. As long as they have that, then yes, absolutely, they can do it on USCIS website online. It is very straightforward. It might be a little bit more difficult if the beneficiary is outside of the United States and they're not aware of the new address or the old address or the case information. Then of course it might be a little bit more complicated for them to do that. So I would assume that the petitioner would have the information. But again, it really depends on the family dynamics. If we're talking about family reunification, sometimes beneficiaries know more about the case than the petitioner, even though it's the petitioner who filed the form and so far so forth. For example, if it's parents who are U.S. citizens and they're petitioning for their son, let's say, who is in the United States of America, who doesn't have a status, and son is just more familiar with the family reunification process, and he's the one kind of filling out all the forms and helping with all of that stuff. Yeah, in that case, the beneficiary will know more. But at the end of the day, to answer your question, yes, absolutely, beneficiary can request a change of address on both USCIS and USPS websites, as long as they do have all the necessary information that is required in order to do that. Okay, so this is not what I'm trying to put in here. Let me post the response here, and we're gonna move on to the next question, comment from Wood Spirit 98. Wood Spirit, thanks so much for being a public subscriber on this channel. I really appreciate it. So Wood Spirit says, great news about people looking for work here and Afghan rebels. Just nothing about getting husband, wives, and children here. Great stuff. If only we came here illegally. Excellent news. Wood Spirit, I mean, I understand your, frustration. Trust me, I'm in the same boat. So it's part of the deal. That's what you get. Don't expect one of these structures that we created, to work. Okay, it will work. It will, for some people who are more pushy, who are more, loopholes, who are willing to go a little bit further, who are willing to do a little bit more than the next person to them. Yeah, it might work, but everybody else get trampled down along the way. You ruin a lot of people's lives as you go, and even us right now discussing somebody else. We're judging somebody else. You don't know what the situation is for Afghan rebels. You don't know what it is situation for people looking here for work. I mean, is it a bad thing looking here for work? Well, that's why this country is so prosperous, in a materialistic way. Not, unfortunately, not in a spiritual way, because if it wasn't spiritual way, then we wouldn't be in the situation where we are. But that's really part of the deal. So honestly, when stuff like this comes out, I kind of almost I wouldn't say I became desensitized, but I became more relaxed with news like this. Because it is upsetting. Like if you get into the news every single day and you read, it's like it's getting worse and worse. All right. So the best we can do is don't judge, don't do your best at the position where you are. Help as many people where you are, or from what you can do, and that's it. That really is it. But things will get worse, a lot worse. This is part of the deal. If you're a man of faith, if you believe in God, then you know where all of this is going. So nothing to be surprised about. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Jose Antonio Perez 7618. Thanks for your video. I was documentary qualified 11 months ago and still waiting. I will call the embassy ASAP. Jose, good luck with that. I honestly, I didn't respond to your question because it really wasn't a question. But if you can, please come back to this channel and post comment. You don't have to post it under this video. Don't post it under my comment, please, because I'm not going to see the response, but post it as a separate comment under any of the videos. But please let me know, because at least I know a lot of people who are watching these videos, they would be interested too. If you were able to get a good response from the embassy, and if they told you when your interview is, it would be really helpful. Okay, moving further to Mol Webster 3992. Hello sir, I need your help please. My mother is married to my father. They are not divorced, but they're separated. Okay, but my mother is still carrying my father's last name, but on the form that arrives, the last name there is her single name. What happened to my petition to my mother? Okay, so this is on the I-130. So, but on the form that arrived, the last name, there is her single name. What happened to my petition to my mother? Okay, so here's the thing, Mol Webster. Let me ask you this: who filled out the form? Because the information that comes from USCIS, the information that comes from NBC, it's the information really that you provide. So whenever it comes to names, places of birth, stuff like this, this is the information that is provided by the petitioner when they fill out the I-130. So who is the petitioner on your case? This is probably would be the number one question. So if you are the petitioner, then did you fill it out correctly? If you made a mistake, honestly, at the end of the day, it really is not a big deal. It's not a huge deal. But if you want to correct it, then you can definitely do that. It's not going to be a problem. If your I-130 petition is still with USCIS, just send the cover letter, regular cover letter. Just type up, your case information, the information that you want to update, and then attach marriage certificate should be fine, just showing, or a passport of your mother showing that her last name is actually, you know, a different one, not the older one when she was single. Okay. If the case is with NVC, then just submit a public inquiry. I do have the video on this channel how to submit a public inquiry. Very straightforward, online. Same thing, you can attach the documents showing that, you know, her name is different, is updated. But regardless, it's not going to be that much of a huge of a deal. But it would be helpful if you could figure out why it was placed incorrectly in the first place, and updating it is really no big deal. Just, you know, like I said, if it's with USCIS, you're sending correspondence to USCIS. If it's already with NVC, just submit a public inquiry online, attach the documents showing her correct name, and they can update it without any problems. Okay, moving further to user Q7 YouTube, that no longer shows me names. Hi sir, assalamu alaikum. My F11 visa has been current for a long time. F11 is F1. It's a subcategory of F1, being the F1 itself. They do have a few subcategories. For a long time, and there is no interview appointment scheduled yet. After documentarily qualified, we tried several times to visa expedite by showing medical doc of my father suffering chronic kidney disease, and both are 92% damage. Man, got refusal every time. Yeah, it's messed up. Now he's physically unfit to visit me. Therefore, I want to visit my family. What can I do next? Please help me. Below my case details for your kind advice. Petitioner, my mom USA citizen, but applied time she was green card. Oh, okay. So it was already updated. Okay, that's good. Priority date is December 14. Documentarily qualified January 2021. So you are, we are 2 years over, and you're from Bangladesh. Okay, so lawyers from US. Okay, so you do have a lawyer. Okay, so let me take a look at the visa bulletin and see what's going on for F1, because that's really what we are dealing with. It's the backlog. So the most recent visa bulletin is for November 2023. So if we look at the F1, it is right now showing January 2015. So people with the priority date back in January 2015. As of right now, their immigrant visa become available. Now, if I remember correctly, you were in 2014, December 2014, which is literally a month before January 2015. So your visa, you are definitely current on the visa bulletin. You are current on the visa bulletin, which means your immigrant visa is already available. So the interview is either already scheduled or about to be scheduled. The only reason why you don't know when the interview was scheduled for, if it is already scheduled, is because most of the times they have to schedule, well, not most of the times, like 99% of the times, only once I've seen a person scheduled 60 days. So you find out about the interview in 99% of the cases 30 days before the actual interview. They do that intentionally so that you have 30 days to do medical examination. One time I've seen that they scheduled it, that they didn't schedule it, they announced the date of the interview 60 days before in the interview. But most of the times it is 30 days. Which means that if, let's say, your interview was scheduled for summer 2024, you're only gonna find out about that interview summer 2024. Let's say if it's scheduled for July 1st, 2024, you're going to find out about it most likely on June 1st, 2024, 1 month before the actual interview. So it's a little bit of, instability because you don't know when it is scheduled. So it's kind of annoying. One thing that you can do is you can reach out to the US Embassy in Bangladesh and let them know, say, hey guys, my immigrant visa is already available. I just wanted to find out when my interview was scheduled for. They might give it to you, the information, because it's unofficial, because it's over the phone. Technically, they're not announcing your interview date. They're just telling you when it was scheduled for, but you will get the announcement later whenever you get the email for the interview, right? That's really one thing I would definitely recommend doing. And then another thing, because in your situation it does sound like an emergency. If you want to, you might give it a shot and try to apply for a non-immigrant visa, like a B1, B2, just a visitor visa to come to the United States to visit your family, to visit your father, because of his condition. Keep in mind that it might create some unnecessary questions during the interview for visitor visa, because it's non-immigrant and because you do have a parallel immigrant petition going. They might say, hey, you're planning to immigrate to the United States and now you're coming asking for non-immigrant visa. Your non-immigrant visa is denied. Possible, very possible. But again, if the person who is there at the US Embassy is reasonable, just like you calling to the US Embassy, if they're reasonable, they will understand the situation and they'll be like, oh yeah, okay, so yeah, your immigrant visa is available. You're gonna be immigrating to the United States in like a year. But I understand you do have a medical, emergency for your father. You need to go and visit him. Yes, here's the non-immigrant visa. It is approved. It's investment, of course, time, money, but this is definitely an option that you can do. But even if you decide not to do it with a non-immigrant visa, regardless, you are very, very close. It really depends on how busy US Embassy is, and in Bangladesh, I would assume they are pretty busy. So you might be waiting for some time before the interview is actually, before you get the interview notice. Not because you already reached all the deadlines. It's just now you're waiting for the US Embassy locally, and their scheduling really. So hopefully it doesn't take too long for you, and when you do get your interview, please come back to this channel. I definitely will be interested to hear what happened, and I know a lot of people will be interested to hear an update on your case. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Hey Kumar, my 120B was approved, but no communication thereafter. Okay, so you are you filed the appeal. You filed the appeal. That's what the I-120B is. It's the appeal when there is a green card, when you're applying for permanent residence and you get a denial. You file an appeal. Here's the thing: whenever it comes to the appeals, unfortunately, there is really no clear timeline for how long they process those, unfortunately. So the best thing to do is either written correspondence, write up a cover letter, send it to them, ask them, hey, I want to find out an update. But the best thing to do is just give them a call. Give them a call and say, hey guys, my I-120B was approved, but I haven't heard anything back. If you have tried that already, unfortunately, there is really not much that you can do, because again, whenever it comes to appeals, whenever it comes to motions to reconsider, stuff like this, USCIS, Homeland Security, they're not bound by any processing times. Like they need to, we have processing times for this particular petition 9 months, so we have to fit into that 9 months. Otherwise, we're gonna make it grow. We can't do that. We need to fit in. They don't have that kind of stuff for appeals, at least not as far as I know of, because I know some cases where people were waiting for a long time, for a very long time, for their motion to reconsider, for their appeals to be reviewed. So it's definitely good news that your I-120B was already approved, but as of right now, unless they gave you any kind of specific instructions with the approval, because again, in the approval, they might have said, hey, we are approving your I-120B, you have to resubmit your application for permanent residence. Make sure you read that approval letter carefully, because there might be some instructions there, but I'm assuming you already did, and so I'm assuming you already did, so that's why I didn't really mention that. So really at this point, it's really just patience, unfortunately, because there's really not much you can do. Okay, let me post a response here, and we're gonna move on to the next one from Farq. Farq, thank you very much for being publicly subscribed to this channel. Really appreciate it. So Farq says there is a form to request exemption, but I'm unsure of the success of this process. Would be a good video. Okay, so there is a form, yes, to request exemption. It is. In fact, I'm gonna share my personal details. I did request it whenever I was applying for my permanent residence. I did use it, that exemption. It was a lot of money. I don't remember how much it was. I think it was like $400 at least, maybe even $600. I don't remember how much it was, but I did do it. The reason why I did do it is because of the religious beliefs. Although I don't consider these religious beliefs, I believe in God, I have faith. And you know, whenever it comes to all this medical stuff that we humans think we know better than, you know, what God created, and we interfere with what God created by doing all of these injections and doing all of these vaccines and all that stuff, I'm sorry, I just don't believe. I know some people, you know, they get very what's the word? Agitated? No, not agitated. Irritated maybe by this kind of stuff, but they really are irritated at themselves because they see other people with faith and they don't have enough faith, so they're scared and they're, you know, trembling, and they want to get vaccinated and they want to get all of these things in their body. I'm not that person. So that's why I did the religious exemption. Well, not really a religious exemption, just an exemption based on faith. And I typed in the cover letter and I paid the money and I sent it in. And probably about a month and a half later, I got the denial of that waiver. And I had to go through all this process, all these vaccines and stuff to get my permanent residence, which I think is completely unfair. I know some people think this is fair, but whatever. It really doesn't matter at the end. At the end of the day, I did go through it, so I had to go through it, and I did suffer. I want to say I didn't really suffer, but I did suffer. When you get like 15 vaccinations in one day, yeah, you do suffer. Your flesh suffers, but whatever. It really is not a big deal. The point that I'm trying to make here with this response is the reason why I didn't make the video of this exemption is because I feel like it just doesn't work. All the people I know who filed it during the COVID, when they are and they're still requiring the COVID vaccination for permanent residence, which I think is completely ridiculous. But yeah, and I did say it in this video, so I don't know why I'm repeating myself. But the point is that these, I don't know whenever, in what situation they approve those exemptions. It seems like they just deny all of them, and it seems like they just use it as money, you know, they just make money and they deny them, like, because you don't get your money back. Whenever your waiver is denied, you don't get your money back. So you pay, you know, $400, $600. Let's see how much is the medical waiver. I don't know if I can find it like that. I don't remember the name. Medical taxation, no. Green cards through physical national interest waiver, no, none of these things. Yeah, I will. I'll find it. But yeah, it wasn't cheap. It wasn't something that you are like, oh, okay, whatever. You know, $50 burned in the air, no big deal. No, it was expensive. So that's really why I didn't make the video. So you can. There is a waiver. It's true, but be prepared that it's just you're gonna waste your money and you're gonna be denied. Unfortunately, it's really sad. But yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Shola Rai Fairclaw 6826. Hi, my priority date is July 2021, F2A category, already documentarily qualified since April 2023 at Jamaica Embassy. When will I receive an interview date? Well, first of all, congratulations on being documentarily qualified, quite recent. April, that is a month number 4, so you are 7 months about after becoming documentarily qualified. So let's take a look at the F2A. You are in July 2021, Jamaica, so all chargeability area. So we're gonna look at F2A. Right now, F2A on the graph A, final action date, is on February 2019. Okay, so February 2019, and you are July 2021. So roughly, without counting the month, you're about 2 years away from your priority date becoming current. A little bit less because you're in July. So like a year and 8 months, maybe 7 months. My math is not very good, but right around that time. Here's the thing though, with the visa bulletin, sometimes it doesn't move. Sometimes it moves very good, sometimes it doesn't move at all. So if it takes a little bit long, it might take a little bit longer. Or it might take a little less if there's a positive movement, specifically for the F2A category. So for you right now, it's extremely important to keep checking Visa Bulletin every single month. On this channel, once the new Visa Bulletin comes out, I do make a video specifically on the Visa Bulletin, comparing it to the previous issue of visa bulletin. So whatever category you're in, you will be able to see exactly whether it moved or it didn't move, whether it moved in a good way or a bad way, or if it just stayed the same. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, there you go. Please consider subscribing and watch those videos, or alternatively just keep checking it yourself every single month, and make sure that you are tracking the progress. That's really all you can do right now. But as of right now, roughly about a year and 8 months until your priority date becomes current. Once it becomes current, your interview is scheduled, which can take quite some time as well. I know in Jamaica, I do have a lot of questions from people in Jamaica. I know the Jamaica US Embassy is pretty busy, but once your immigrant visa becomes available, when your priority dates become current, you can call them and you can kind of work with them and see if they can give you that information when it was scheduled for. Okay, moving further to the next one from Mark Nocia. Sir, please help. I overstayed in Philippines and my green card is already expired since 2020. Ooh, do you think I can go back to US? Oh, there's more from Mark Nocia. Let me read the whole thing. So we're gonna read this. Hi sis, I have a question. I'm assuming sir. I have green card already expired since 2020. Do you think I can apply a new green card and I can go back to California? I already renewed my green card, but my landlord accidentally threw the garbage. Ooh, please help, thank you. It gets worse as I'm reading this. Ah, man, I'm sorry you're going through this. Okay, so, man, okay, here's a few things, right? That first of all, you definitely need a legal help here. Sounds like you've been living in California, so if you've been living in California for a while, someone who's an immigrant, you probably might know, or directly or indirectly, an immigration attorney. If you don't, I would start shopping around right now. Keep checking the reviews. I do have the video on this channel that describes how to find a good immigration attorney. That's what you need. You definitely do need an immigration attorney in your situation. Okay, number two is you want to look at and see if you are able to get the parole to enter the United States, which is basically it's a travel document that you apply for, and I do have the video on this channel. It's more specifically for refugee travel document, but it's the same application form that you're using to apply for the advanced parole. And advanced parole, basically you're requesting based on circumstances, you're explaining the circumstances, why you stayed in Philippines for that long, why you were not able to come back and renew your green card on time, and now you're going back. And it might work, but I would definitely recommend having an attorney in your corner because of there is an expiration that is involved, loss of status potentially that is involved, but the most important reason why you need help from the attorney is because you are outside of the United States of America. So you definitely need someone here representing your interest, filing all the forms on behalf of you, and so far so forth. Let me tell you right away, it's not going to be easy to find a good attorney. It's not easy to find a good attorney when you're here, okay? Especially when you're outside of the United States of America. So be very careful with that process. I mean, go through phone consultations, as many as possible. Try to find someone who offers free over the phone consultation where you can speak to an attorney directly, where you can discuss how much it's gonna cost. If you have relatives or friends in California who can recommend you a good attorney, then yeah. And parallel to that, start familiarizing yourself with the process of applying for the advanced parole, because when you do start working with an attorney, the more you know, the better it is for you. Then they won't be able to take advantage of you if you do know the process yourself. So good luck with that, and please do come back to this channel and let me know how it is going. If you have any questions along the way, I will be happy to help you out with that. Hopefully you can figure it out. Okay, let's address the very last question for today. We are almost at 30-minute mark from Greg Brady. Can my ex-spouse gain an immigration benefit after I withdrew the I-130 application obtained my divorce in less than a year, reported her numerous times, written several letters detailing her fraud, spoken to numerous USCIS agents about her, and all done before the green card was issued. That's the question I need to answer. Greg Brady, yeah, absolutely. It looks like you've done more than enough on your part. I would just recommend. You know, it sucks. You know, it sucks, and I can, you know, I can feel for you, man. So it does suck when you do all of that for a person, and then that's what you have to go through. So if this your comment to me, it shows a lot of pain, you know, that you went through. So you done enough, definitely, yes. Can she gain an immigrant benefit? Honestly, considering how broken the immigration system is, how corrupt it is, how corrupt the government is, I would not be surprised if your spouse does gain an immigration benefit after everything that you've done. Most likely they won't, but it's possible. My recommendation, I know you're not really asking for a recommendation, you just need the answer, the question answered, and I hope I did, but my recommendation is, you know, just let it go and start healing. You've done everything you needed to do, and you did the right thing, because you definitely don't want someone, you know, coming here, taking advantage of a person, and then, you know, continuing taking advantage. Because when you allow people to take advantage of you, well, it's a matter of time that they start taking advantage of other people, if they're not already taking advantage of other people. So you did the right thing. You know, you reported the fraud, you reported it to USCIS. But if you keep concentrating on, and if you keep, you know, going after this, it's only going to take away from you, and you deserve healing. I don't know much from this comment, but this is what I get from this comment. So I pray for your healing. I pray for your healing, and you know, I pray that you get a spouse, you find a spouse, a partner in life, a real one, who is worth, you know, you doing everything for them like you already did for this person, and then they treat you with respect, at least. Yeah, so. But thank you very much, everyone, for all your questions and comments today. Hopefully my answers were helpful. If you have any questions along the way, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments below. Again, just make sure don't respond to my comment within your comment, because I'm not going to see it. YouTube does not send me those notifications. I don't know why. Just post it as a separate comment under any of the videos, and I will see it on this wall. So again, thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.